proponent or component of digital engagement within any given country. Internet penetration in Bangladesh is increasing. However, as you can see on the right, Bangladesh's mobile data as a percentage of monthly per capita income still remains substantially higher than its peers. And we are very confident and we believe that the government is taking the right steps to reduce mobile internet prices. And as internet prices come down, as handset prices come down, we think that this also represents a very unique opportunity for more business to be transacted online. As people get more and more comfortable with the internet, as they seek to finding solutions for their problems using the internet, with affordable internet, this too represents a very unique opportunity for startups and for technologically enabled businesses alike. So as you can also see that Bangladesh's per capita, startup investment per capita, it remains extremely low as compared to its peers. But we believe that's changing. We believe that we're at the inflection point of a very unique opportunity for us to attract more attention, not just from the startups themselves that are doing very unique and interesting things, but also through the policy changes and reforms that we're seeing that are supporting the growth of the internet ecosystem, if you will. And we believe that as we see internet prices come down, as we start to see more digital engagement, that the startup investment, obviously per capita, shall rise substantially as a result of that. So Bangladesh, if you look at it from a more granular perspective in terms of what the startup ecosystem has done so far, we've raised about $1 billion, primarily from international sources. We've created 1.5 million jobs across 15 sectors, and we've got 300 investors invested in 150 plus startups. But as the ICT Secretary and Startup Bangladesh Chairman recently said, we have over 1,200 startups that are active in our ecosystem today. This is almost a 10x figure from what it was a decade ago. This is a quick picture of the investing landscape. So you can see that most of the money that's come in has come in through venture capital, and these are some notable venture capitalists or venture capital firms that have already invested in Bangladesh, and we expect that this list will grow considerably through the raising of awareness of the investment opportunities in Bangladesh from things like Startup Connect and the Bangladesh Investment Summit. And the startups themselves, I think, are working very hard to attract foreign capital by promoting themselves to a much wider audience. Now, generally, a big question for us, or a big issue for us within the startup ecosystem for Bangladesh, has been a nomenclature problem. So Bangladesh does not necessarily fit within the definitions of MENA. They don't fit within ASEAN. We fit within this silo called the Indian subcontinent. And so we've really, we've really had to sell ourselves, and I think we've done an incredible job of doing so. But I believe that we're at the cusp of an inflection point of change where Bangladesh becomes a much stronger mandate of many investment firms that have not yet looked at Bangladesh. At the end of the day, we are the 8th largest population in the world. We have 170 million plus people with an extremely young, digitally engaged population. I am very confident that this map in front of you will change dramatically in the next 5 years. Bangladesh will attract significant investment, not just in venture capital, of course, but in overall FDI. But specifically for the purpose of this conversation, I really do believe that this landscape will change dramatically as more and more people who have been perhaps sitting on the sidelines not just see the opportunity, but also see the policy support and the conviction and the confidence that this government is instilling in the startup ecosystem and to investors who are looking to invest in this ecosystem. So this is the ICT Master Plan for the ICT Master Plan 2030, and this outlines some of the changes or some of the visions that the government, that the ICT Ministry has towards promoting the growth of the ICT industry in Bangladesh. Obviously, startups play a role in that, and obviously startups are are beneficiaries of this in many ways, in the sense that, you know, as the government promotes skills development, this also leads to a massive opportunity for startups to benefit from high quality digital skills in terms of software engineers, developers, content creators, and specialists that perhaps did not exist today, or perhaps we did not have a sufficient enough supply of top quality. And so as a part of the ICT Ministry's roadmap, a lot of these master plan visions are very much to the specific and direct benefit of startups, not just from where they could benefit from its services, but also as opportunities where they could build businesses around providing solutions, perhaps to government, but also to private industry or to citizens or to consumers on the basis of some of these more robustly or easily available technological solutions. So these are some of the programs that the ICT Ministry has been focusing on in terms of promoting opportunity sets for creation of entrepreneurship in terms of startups and SMEs, through the training and through the development of young entrepreneurs and I guess students to be better prepared to set up their own businesses. So for example, the Bangladesh High Tech Park Authority is an example which obviously aims to create an investor-friendly landscape for startups and technological businesses alike. IDEA project is one that I think is very, very well worth mentioning. It currently, in its current shape and form, in its truest form, is meant to be an ideal opportunity for lead gen for organizations like Startup Bangladesh and other venture capital, where it provides early grants and support to budding or aspiring entrepreneurs who may have their respective tech or SME or startup businesses, which could then scale into larger opportunity sets and then receive startup funding from venture capital or privately or organizations such as Startup Bangladesh. So Startup Bangladesh has been working through the very kind assistance and support of JICA to do the feasibility study on a fund of funds model, and we're pleased to say that significant progress has been made in that regard. So we believe that by launching this fund of funds model, it provides an opportunity for attracting international venture capital firms who operate at world-class standards or at global standards of venture capital to not just participate in the Bangladesh investment ecosystem, but to use that as an opportunity set for them to promote Bangladeshi startups to their LPs, to their investors who may not necessarily have had Bangladesh as a part of their mandate. And so we really do believe that the fund of funds model has a much wider benefit approach than just providing capital to these venture capitalists. We believe that this can actually bring about a network effect that allows for the mobilization of significantly higher amounts of capital because of the international nature of some of these venture capitalists that we ideally believe would participate in the fund of funds model. So we've had around 8 months of this interim government, and I think they've done an incredible job of providing certain reforms, especially in the finance and banking sector, and these outline some of the key macro reforms and how they do currently benefit the startup ecosystem. The two that I would like to specifically draw attention to are the ones at the bottom that primarily speak to the recent announcement by Bangladesh Bank, and we are very grateful to the central bank governor and his colleagues for recently issuing a circular that not just permits for overseas investment by startups, but more importantly allows for share swaps. And this gives us the opportunity set for us to consolidate capital cap tables for our investments and to provide a much more global and streamlined investment ecosystem that is on par with our respective peers. This allows us to mitigate a lot of questions and challenges that we've had to face with international VCs in terms of maintaining two different levels of cap tables. And this allows us not just to motivate our founders to own different forms of equity, but also allows us to essentially promote ourselves to a different level of venture capitalists that may not have necessarily considered investing because of some of these challenges. So we are very grateful to the central bank for these recent changes. Thank you. So we're back to me. I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk a little bit about my journey in terms of the experiences that I've had within the startup ecosystem as one of the earliest advocates and angel investors. So as I said, I moved to Bangladesh in 2006, and I've been in Bangladesh for about 18 years. I've made about 60 plus investments in startups globally and 17 investments in Bangladesh to date. And so these are some of the portfolio names that I've invested in amongst others. But the reason why I bring up some of these names are that the startup ecosystem in Bangladesh has certainly had its fair share of ups and downs, just as any ecosystem does, especially ones that are in their nascent stages. So, if you look at a business like ShopUp, which has gone on to raise significant amounts of capital and could be a very important, very important sense of pride for us in the Bangladesh startup ecosystem. They have iterated their business model 4 times before stumbling on where they are today. And so this is no different than in a startup in Silicon Valley or in London or in New York. Startups require iteration. We require dynamic founders who understand the business models and understand when they have to change. And so we've had obviously our ups and downs in the ecosystem. We've had challenges with funding. But another example I wanted to point out is our experience with Pathao. So we were one of the first investors in Pathao in 2016, I believe. And we had an opportunity to take an exit within 24 months of our investment. So we essentially turned our $300,000 into $7 million within 24 months. Now, we didn't do that because we didn't believe in the ecosystem. We did that because it sent a very important signal to our LPs, to our investors, that there are exit pathways in Bangladesh, that Bangladesh is investable, that Bangladesh is an opportunity set, that it's not that you can invest, but you can also find ways to exit. Obviously, as you may appreciate, exits are just as important as investments to financial investors. So by that token, by us doing a proof of concept, it really did instill some confidence in investors that yes, there are opportunities for us to exit. And I really do believe that there are significant opportunities as we work with the regulators to see how we can list Bangladeshi startups that may experience significant growth, and work with BSAC and with the finance ministry on how we can promote a wider class of high quality startups to list in the coming days. The one thing I want to end on in my keynote is that, as I'm born and raised in Canada, I've been very privileged to have a very privileged life. I am in Bangladesh because I want to be. I am here because I believe it is the most exciting, not one of the most exciting opportunity set in the world today. And I think amongst that opportunity set, the startup ecosystem represents a really unique opportunity. It's a very nascent, very early stages opportunity set that I would really urge international investors to explore and consider as we start to attract more capital, as our population starts to become more digitally engaged, as this government works towards reforms that would reduce internet prices and increase digital engagement. There's no doubt that the Bangladeshi internet ecosystem will experience significant growth in the coming days. And I want to use this opportunity to invite you all to join us on this journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tanvirali, for that insightful and thought-provoking keynote. Your emphasis on creating pathways for scalable innovation and cross-border investment aligns perfectly with our national priorities and vision. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have something very special. We are very excited to present a video message from Mr. Reid Hoffman, co-founder of LinkedIn, a global icon in entrepreneurship and venture capital. Let's hear his message for Bangladesh's innovators and entrepreneurs.
Hi, I'm Reid Hoffman, the co-founding CEO of LinkedIn, founding board and team member of PayPal, first investor in Airbnb, OpenAI, Meta, Zynga, and others, and a recent co-founder of Inflection AI, one of the large-scale chatbots, and Manas AI, trying to cure cancer with AI accelerated drug discovery. I'm an active investor at Greylock Partners, and I have invested in Bangladeshi entrepreneurs. And so I'm delighted, if only being there virtually, to be there with you at the Bangladesh Investment Summit of 2025. And one of the things I've learned as an entrepreneur and as a VC is you want to seize the moment on platform changes. You want to see challenges and convert them into opportunities. And part of what is there in front of you with this amazing workforce in Bangladesh, who is, very entrepreneurial, driven, grit, intelligent, is to seize this chance to become essentially an AI nation, an AI workforce, to have AI help elevate the talent in learning new skills and capabilities for new kinds of companies and projects, but also to make that into a kind of the leading force in making companies that have regional and global impact. And it will be deploying such things as Iconic University and other kinds of first of its, creating that amplification of human talent, that where AI is amplification intelligence, and seizing this moment and this kind of platform change to make an opportunity and to make your own opportunity. So I cannot wait to see what comes out of this investment summit.
Now, that was very inspiring to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is my pleasure to introduce the inaugural plenary panel titled Empowering Innovation, Connecting Opportunities. This discussion will focus on the powerful intersection of policy, capital, and innovation in shaping the future of our startup ecosystem. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed panelists on the stage. Mr. Chaudhry Ashik Mahmood bin Harun, Executive Chairman, BIDA. Mr. Faiz Ahmed Tayyib, Special Assistant to the Honorable Chief Advisor, ICT Division. Dr. Ahsan H. Mansoor, Governor, Bangladesh Bank. Mr. Sheesh Haider Chaudhry, NDC Secretary, ICT Division and Chairman, Startup Bangladesh Limited. This panel will be moderated by the dynamic and visionary Ms. Sadia Haq, CEO of ShareTrip. A big round of applause for all of them, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello and very good morning to all of you. I think the guests who are sitting here with us today, the round of applause was not enough and it does not do justice. Can we have another big round of applause? Thank you so much, everyone. A very good morning and welcome to the Startup Connect, which is a flagship segment of the Bangladesh Investment Summit 2025. I'm Sadia Hawk. I'm the co-founder and CEO of ShareTrip, which is a travel tech and lifestyle brand with a homegrown wallet called STPay. And we have been operating in the Bangladeshi startup ecosystem since 2019. So I'm chosen to be the best fit to ask all the right questions to these guests. And it gives me immense pleasure to host today's opening discussion on empowering innovation and connecting opportunities. So although all the guests here have been called upon, but I would still love to have the honor of introducing. So first, we have with us Chaudhry Ashik Mohammed bin Harun, Executive in Bida and Beza. We have Faiz Ahmed Tayeb, Special Assistant to Honorable Chief Advisor, ICT Division. We have Dr. Ahsan H. Mansoor, Governor to Bangladesh Bank. And lastly, Shish Haider Sir, Chaudhry MDC, Secretary to the ICT Division. When their names are spoken of, I don't think I need to give any further introduction or details of what they do and how they act and what they're responsible for. Very popular faces all through for the last couple of months, and we are very grateful for all the work that you're doing. So today's panel discussion is on a very major topic, that is empowering innovation and connecting opportunities. And before we go deep dive into the conversations, I would like to give some perspective for what the topic is all about and what we are here to learn from these esteemed guests. So as we heard from Tanvir, startups in Bangladesh are actually a very booming industry, right? They're still very high potential. And the contribution these startups have in the economy is massive in terms of economic development, employment generation, bringing technology-based things are actually very noteworthy, and we are all aware of. But coming back to the story, this is not the end of